You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmaier, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Joining us now is actually one of my all-time favorite people. This guy, he wasn't in here for 15 seconds before the conversation got hilarious. Darren Vegas, music producer, music supervisor extraordinaire, a man about town. What have you got to say for yourself, buddy? First of all, how are you?
Hey, is this on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I'm doing good, man. Just chilling. Just came up here to visit you and see what you got going on.
Yeah, we were laughing that a lot of our friends have, gone to prison since we've met, or died, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But my first question to you is, how's my buddy Suge Knight doing?
I haven't. Last time I saw him was like, I think he called me to the studio about a year and a half ago. He's like, man, let's work on another record, and I hadn't talked to him probably in a year or two. And then I always just happened. We didn't end up doing that much. I don't know what happened. We were in the studio working, and then all of a sudden he took off with a couple girls. I never saw him again.
Yeah, typical.
But every time I'm in Vegas playing craps or playing blackjack, I turn around and he's like there. I feel this shadow like next to me, like, Vegas, what's up? And he just happens to be there.
Well, he is big. He must cast quite a shadow.
Yeah, he does too.
I remember you stopped by my office once at Warner Brothers, and you had just come from seeing him in prison, where you were describing how he had like 3 chicken dinners and he had the cafeteria
the hot wings
fenced off for him just to have a discussion with you, like he had to take your production meetings in prison with him.
Yeah, that's how I met him.
Yeah.
They when I signed the deal with them, they actually flew me up to Mule Creek prison to meet him, which was pretty intimidating. You're like, yeah, you're gonna meet Suge Knight, but we gotta fly you to a prison in North Cali, and you're gonna go meet him in the yard.
Office. You had to meet him at the office.
Yeah.
And so we'll walk us through that. A lot of us haven't had those meetings. So you're flown up and you get to the prison complex and you go through the checkpoint.
Yeah.
And you're walking in and take it from there.
What's crazy is the first time I went there, they wouldn't let me in. I went all the way up there, flew all the way up there. I can't remember why they didn't let me in. I don't know.
Yeah,
It smelled like weed or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, Don't hold back. This is combat.
Could have been the balloons that were in your system.
So anyway.
Was it the white powder on your nose? I don't know.
Contraband in your pants could have been the reason.
Like, this guy smells suspicious, man. So anyway, so then I had to fly up there like the following week, and that time they let me in. And I'm sitting in there waiting in the thing, and then here comes Suge Knight walking out. He had a cane. Because I think he was telling me he had a knee injury or something, so he didn't have to work when he was in there. Or maybe he really did have a knee injury. I don't know. Who am I?
Who are us to speculate where Suge Knight's concerned?
Yeah, I don't know. He might have kicked somebody in there and hurt his knee. I don't know.
I don't think
in prison.
He wasn't going to work in the kitchen. We know that. Yeah.
Exactly.
That is the job to have in prison, though, KP, I think. But that's another story altogether. Anyway, so you're up there and you take the meeting, and
so I take the meeting. He's like, I've been hearing about you on the streets, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, I told him. But and then, I was producing another group, Bone Thugs and Harmony at the time, and we had a couple big records out. And so he's like, I've been hearing about you, and I had done a song for Snoop Dogg, why he was in prison. And so he said, look, I want to sign you. I want you to go in and do these Tupac songs. And Tupac had passed away before this. So what they would do is they would just send me the vocals, and they wanted me to go to the studio and do them. So he said, listen, I want you to do these 2 Tupac songs, and then I want you to go in and do these Dog Pound songs. And I'm gonna give you $50,000 right now. If you do a good job, I'm gonna sign you to $1 million contract. And for me on the West Coast, I was just like, wow, and he wrote it out on a napkin. He's like,
that's
do
contract
this,
paper. That's not a napkin. It's contract paper.
Once you have the napkin, what's the next move? You go to his accountant and say,
I didn't take the napkin.
Yeah.
The napkin doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean?
So now you're establishing a career off of locked up people and dead people. Yeah. So how does that make you feel?
Is this where you thought you have arrived?
I was excited.
Taking my meeting in prison.
Snoop was in prison. Suge was in prison, and the artists are dead. So
at that time on the West Coast, you couldn't get a record deal.
Oh no.
Because all the bad press that had happened with Pac and everything was like gangster rap and West Coast rap. It was like a stigma where the record industry was not signing West Coast artists anymore.
Was this after Biggie was shot?
Yeah. So it's like you couldn't get a record deal anywhere. I was working with Bone Thugs and Harmony, but they weren't from the West, but they were living here and stuff. So for me to get any type of deal, I was like tired of freelancing and stuff. I was like, man, I'm going.
Was that
for
pre Oscar or post Oscar? Didn't they get a
that was Grammy.
Grammy.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
don't they got a
That was after they got a Grammy.
Yeah, I know They want something pretty
Come
big.
back to this napkin for a minute. I would like to know how this business, just for my own personal intelligence. So you're given a napkin.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the money, obviously, in the prison. So where do you go? You start the deal.
We start the deal. I got to go in and work on this. I can't remember if they gave me the money first or right after I did it. I don't know.
So
I'm pretty sure if I took
you
the
roll
money
like
and didn't
that.
do the songs, I
yeah,
you wouldn't be.
it wouldn't be a good move.
No, we all know you honor your.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I just thought of this, and it is true with us. Some of the best things have happened from our friendship.
Yeah.
It's funny. We barely see each other, but I can honestly say that I've met some of the best people in my life through you. Quality individuals. And what's funny is this conversation, to the listener, they may not grasp that, but you'd be amazed at some of the character guys I've met through our association. We go back a few years now, and it's really unreal.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking. You just mentioned that we're talking about Freeway Ricky Ross with my wife in the other room. That you were getting calls from him in prison. That's not what nothing against him. That's not what I'm thinking of. But
and I don't even know how the conversation came up. She was mentioning something, and I was like, yeah, I know Freeway Rick too. Like he was locked up with a friend of mine in the feds, and he called me at one time. He got on the phone with me. He's like, hey, and I didn't even know who Freeway Rick was back then. He was like a legendary
big
dope
boss.
dealer. You know what I mean?
Big boss man.
Funny little.
But not that Freeway Rick. The real Freeway Rick. Rick Ross, the
Maxine Waters got out of prison.
The actual drug dealer.
Right.
Yeah. So he was the real Rick Ross.
What's crazy is that goes back. J-Ro of the Alcoholics, who was just on that track. Rick Ross tried to sign him at one point too, and I remember having that discussion with him at Camacho.
That's how it happened.
Is that how it came?
Your wife was telling me about J-Ro, the Alcoholics.
That's a guy you should work with.
Yeah, he's great. I think he actually
Big
rapped
J?
on one of my beats about a year and a half ago at another group I produced. He guest appearanced on it. We didn't meet, but it was my beat and the guys were in the studio.
It's so
That's
good
how
to
a lot
see
of
you,
things
man.
happen.
It's so good to see you after all this time, man. Where have you been? I see you're in Vegas. You're living large. What? I have to call your people. My people have to call your people.
Yeah, I have no people. I was in Vegas. I was playing poker professionally for a while. The music industry was so crazy. I just got tired of the BS, and people weren't selling records anymore. And it's like, dealing with the labels. I just got sick of it. I said, man, I'm going to go play poker. So I was playing poker for
awesome.
One gamble to another.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you and Tom Vitorino here have a lot in common.
Yeah, we do,
both
man.
Music.
Actually, poker's less of a
gamblers.
gamble than the music industry.
Yeah, it's
It
true.
is, huh?
It is.
You have more of a chance.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So what's up with you? What do we have here? You brought in some music. I'm excited to play it. What do we got?
I think the first track on it's a track I'm working on right now. It's called West Coast Cali. You can just play like the beat into the first verse and hook and then cut it. It's not released yet. I don't want to play the whole thing, but it might be going on a compilation that Master P's doing called West Coast Bad Boys.
And who's dropping the lyrics?
Let's go for it. Here we go.
There's a guy named Eastwood on there. He was signed
Eastwood?
with me at Death Row, and a girl Butterfly.
Eastwood and Butterfly.
Yeah.
Vegas music.
California weather when it comes to the West. No one can do it better. Medicated marijuana. Bitches and Benihana's. We shout us out for the commas. I love it. That's on my mama. I'm a fiend for it. I used to dream for it. Top down on the ghost. I'm on the team scoring. Me and DB on the track with the slap. Time to hit 'em up. Authentic rap. Tupac. We gon' dig 'em up. On my Snoop Dogg block. Lime to the more. Swag hella mean. Hat down to the floor. Los Angeles Lake Show. I'm like Kobe on the comeback. Anything you say you do now, we done done that. I'm gonna take you to West Coast, California.
That's pretty badass, man.
All right, man. Nice work.
Yeah.
Smooth.
I thought Master P dropped out of the game there.
You know what? My buddy hit me the other day. Eastwood, he said he's back in the game doing records right now.
Cool,
so,
man.
And they're doing like a West Coast compilation called West
That had
Coast
a real
Bad
West
Boys.
Coast vibe right there, man.
I wanted to bring it back. That's like the sound that we were doing maybe 10 years ago, and then it wasn't cool to do it anymore. And now it's like with a lot of the electro type music that's going on right now, I think people are craving that funk type West Coast sound.
Yeah.
again, so.
All the electro music they owe Earth, Wind and Fire royalty, man.
Yeah.
This borrowing so heavy. Daft Punk is just like that.
It goes
Yeah.
smooth before that. It's World Class Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
Dre's early days.
I dig those backups, man. They're like straight out of 1978, man. They're dope.
She could actually, her name is Butterfly. She could actually sing. She was signed to Arista, and she wrote a lot of big records, I think, for Faith and some other artists. But, she could really sing, man. You know.
So where can people get that, or when's that going to be released?
You know what? You can't get it yet. I haven't even put the second verse on there yet.
See that? Wow, that's how
you
up we are.
You heard it here first.
Wow.
The second verse got to drop Combat Radio in there.
Unreal.
Put a little combat in there.
Yeah.
You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmaier, right here on LA Talk Radio.